Big deep, it's getting cold, isn't it?
Hello everybody, welcome back. It's been a while, not done a video since last summer, but I'm off on another adventure. And before we get going, we've got to get a canoe. We're at Manchester Canoes in Warrington, picking up a Pelican 15.5 foot canoe, and then we're off up to Scotland to do Loch Awe. So we just arrived at Loch Awe, Kilchurn Castle car park, about half an hour before dark. Got my lad with me, he's joining me on this trip. And we're just going to have a walk down to the river where we start our little expedition. So this is where we launch from, under the railway bridge. Bit of ice. And that's where the River Orkney comes in. And then we go off that way and down the loch. And Loch Awe's 25 miles long. I think it's the longest body of fresh water in Scotland. So probably even in Britain. And it doesn't look like there's much flow there at all, so we shouldn't have any issues getting out onto the water. Bit of ice floating about, but nothing major. Okay, so we need to get back to the van and get a tarp over the back doors and set up a little area so we can do some cooking and chill out, because heavy snow tonight, so we're probably going to have about 5-6 inches of snow overnight. Wind's going to pick up, and then tomorrow it's going to rain pretty much all day. So I'm going to position the van appropriately so that we get a bit of shelter from the incoming storm. Get the sleeping bags laid out in the front so they can fluff up a bit. Get some tea on. Go through some emergency stuff with Alfie, and get our heads down in a bit, I suppose. So we're just setting up a tarp over the back doors of the van, just so we can get out of the rain if it rains. There's no wind at the minute, so I think we might get the little stick fire going just to warm the hands, get the stove on, get the food cooking, and that'll do us for a few hours, and then we'll get our heads down. So the owner of the car park has just turned up in his white van. He's come down to let his cattle out so they can graze, and he said there is a £10 a night charge to stay here overnight, but he said, I can see you tidy people, you're not going to leave a load of mess. I went, you'll never even know we were here. He said, how long are you going to leave it here for? I said, probably till Thursday. And he went, no one else is likely to turn up. Have it on the house. What a lovely man. I said, are we all right to have a little tiny stick fire? He went, yeah, you've got to have something. It's going to be cold tonight. He said, just don't leave a mess. And there we go. If you're nice, people are nice to you. But as you can imagine, he gets all sorts pulling in here, and the beer and curry brigade, and just leaving mess everywhere. So and he's got a camera up there, So he's advised me in the morning, not that he's ever had a problem, but he's advised me, park my van over there by that rock and it will be under 24-hour surveillance. So we're just sorting out the front stuff, sleeping bags, getting them out, lofting for our stay tonight. So we've got a little stick fire going. We want to cook our chicken curry, but the chicken is still frozen, and that was taken out of the freezer at home. What time this morning? About 7? Half 7?
Yeah, something like that.
About half 7. It's been in a cool box. It's been turned off in the back of the van, all the way up here. And it's now, what, we took it out about 5 and it's frozen. So we're heating up a bit of water to drop that into, to try and defrost it. We're using our Costa cups, etc. from the journey. Save the washing up tonight, and they can go in the bin. This little stick fire is putting out a bit of heat actually, just to keep chill off. Just check the weather, and we're looking at probably -2, -3 tonight. Snow and rain and cold all day tomorrow.
Got these pulled up as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so with hypothermia, because that's the biggest risk we've got here, I think, is hypothermia. So the first sign really of hypothermia is you start to shiver. And then after that, it gets progressively worse, where people start to lose control of movements. They get slurry with their words, not making decisions properly. And when it starts to get really bad, they even start to think that they're hot and take clothes off and do irrational stuff like that, yeah? So if you start to shiver, at any point you need to say, and we need to get to shore, we need to get the tent up, we need to get fire going, get you in a sleeping bag, etc., right? Same for me. If I suddenly start acting irrational, more irrational than I do anyway, yeah, we need to make decisions. What you don't do is apply direct heat, hot water bottles and stuff. What you need to do is sleeping bags, radiation from a fire, even get in sleeping bags with somebody to use your body heat to warm them up.
Oh, you meant to strip down as well?
If you're wet, that's, yeah, if you've got wet clothes, yeah, take the wet clothes off. But the wet clothes thing, you're going to cool down 30 times faster if you're wet. Yeah? So it's really important. 2 things: we stay dry, and if you start to shiver, even if you start to feel cold, and I don't mean a bit cold, you know, cold hands, cold feet, I mean really cold. Right hand open. So we've actually got onto the water at last. It's taken most of the morning just faffing about with stuff, but we're underway. A lot of stuff in the boat, but hopefully we'll be fine. You paddle on the left. That's it. Nice and steady through this little bit of a gravel bar. Got really shallow here, is it? slow right down there. Keep going, nice and gently. Okay. We're going to run it round here. Right, stay where you are. Right, get out of the boat. Right. Let's just move it. Oh, shit over it. How shallow is that? Sorry? Please out that way. Yeah. Spin the boat. Snow came down on the mountains last night, down to about 200 metres. We were actually quite warm in the van. Quite nice. Just took a while to get comfy. But hopefully we'll have a much better camp tonight. So, yeah. In fact, it's behind them. There's no wind, that's the bonus. How's the dry soup? Dry. Good. That's it. Dig deep now. That's the island there. Yeah. The camp's just around the corner. Can't see it yet. Left, yeah.
Or is there like a base or?
It's a little beach. Dig deep. It's getting cold, isn't it? My hands are alright, it's my feet.
Oh, my feet are really warm.
Yeah, at about 2 o'clock. Yeah? That's the beach. That's where we're heading, but we need to go around these rocks, yeah? Can't see any smoke, so I don't think there's anybody else there. Go through, just take it slow, yeah? No, I do that. Right, gonna get out without tipping me in. Right, you pull the boat up a bit. Oh, my feet are frozen. So we've got into camp, got the tent up and got the wood stove going because we were freezing, really cold by the time we got here. So priority is warm up, have a hot drink, then we're going to go back out, tidy up some of the camp stuff, get some water filtered and probably have something to eat, eh mate?
I'm
starving. Get our beds made out. We've just got to dry the ground sheet off a bit because we've got in the tent. We were that cold. We've literally got in a lit stove with our dry suits on. So and obviously they're wet. So we'll get all that sorted and see you in a bit. Nice hot brew and biscuits. What do you think, Alfie?
It's bloody cold.
Not in here though. So that's our setup. Nice and toasty in there. Got the fire on. We've got to lay our beds out and stuff yet. That's all got to be sorted out in a minute. There's firewood there and all sorts of stuff that we will organise, make sure it's good for the night. We've got to turn the canoe over. That's got quite a bit of water on it actually. And Alfie's off through there in the trees. He's going to filter us a load of water with the mini Sawyer water filter. I've told him to go away from the campsite itself because, you know, people do things. Speaking of which, I'm off to dig a hole and take care of business. Just to demonstrate how cold it is, these burgers were taken out of our freezer Saturday morning at about 7:30. They're still frozen. And that Lomo dry bag there, that's got all our meat in it for this trip. Steaks, mince, etc. It's all still frozen. Chef Alfie is going to do us bacon and cheeseburgers tonight on the wood stove. The rain has stopped at last. There was a little bit of a sunset, and we've got a tame robin come to see us. Must be his island. So this is Inishell Island, on the northern end of Loch Awe. And we'll go and explore it tomorrow. We're discussing whether we stay here and do some fishing, because that's sort of 50% of the reason we're here, is to do some fishing for pike and sort of base camp it for another night, or whether we move on. But that's going to depend a lot on the weather, I think. And all of our dry suits and stuff, which is just shoved in the corners of the tent, they're all soaking wet, so we're going to need to dry them out as well, really. And if it's not raining tomorrow, that's an opportunity maybe. The reason they're in the tent is if we leave them outside tonight, they're going to freeze solid. So we wouldn't be able to put them on anyway, probably. But a still cold night. So we've eaten, and Alfie's done his burgers, and then he's eating the bacon too. Growing lad. So we're going to have a coffee now, and I was looking around on Amazon and I found this little coffee maker, real coffee, and this is the coffee that we are going to have, and it's very nice. Been having it for about a week at home before we came. Morning campers. Well, the forecast's wrong again. It's supposed to be a lot brighter today, and it's just rained. In fact, there wasn't supposed to be much rain last night, but it absolutely hammered it down most of the night. So I think I'm gonna have a couple of brews, see what happens. Probably stay here, try and do some fishing, I think, because what I don't want to do is put wet dry suits on again and paddle in the rain again all day. I think we're going to get really cold if we do that. Although it does feel warmer today. It is warmer. And have some breakfast, keep my eye on the forecast, and get out and do a bit of fishing, I think. That looks like blue sky. What could it mean? That's dry suits and PFDs hanging up. It's not warm enough to dry them out, but hopefully they'll drip dry a bit. Just an old tarp there, drip drying as well. Alfie's off washing up. So this lot can just stay outside. Doesn't matter if any of this gets wet. So we'll get a bit of fishing done in a minute. So it's just come down. That boat was only just in the water when we arrived yesterday at the back end. So the water's risen probably 3-4 inches. We need to keep our eye on that because that's our tent. I don't think he's going to get up past this little sort of step. I would say that's about the high point of the water normally in winter, but we'll keep our eye on that. So I'm going to use the end of this log that's laying there as a mark. If it starts getting much past that, we might have to move the tent to higher ground, of which there is plenty, but I really don't want to. It's a lot of work. So we've got our camp chores done, washing up rubbish, sorting the rubbish out, drying stuff, etc. But it is quite cold out there. There's a gentle northerly breeze, and it's really chilling things. So we've just popped back in the tent, a hot drink, and then we're going to go out and do some fishing. So the rain's back, stopped play, we're not fishing. Sheltering in the tent again, having a brew. I think we're going to wait for it to stop, and then we're going to have a walk up to the old chapel and cemetery and have a look. That was quite a couple of hours. Very windy, heavy rain. Now look at it. Blue sky. So Alfie's having a bit of a fish. We've had to pull the boat in a bit more because it was almost all in the water. Water's risen about half an inch since this morning, so hopefully we'll be okay for the night. Because it'd have to come up about another 8 inches or so, 12 inches before it gets to our tent. But obviously with all the rain we've had over the last few weeks, all the rivers are running down into this loch from the hills, and then I think there's only one river running out of it, I think, down to Oban area. So hopefully it'll be okay. So it's brightened up now. We're going to have a walk up to the old chapel or nunnery, I'm not certain. It's varying sort of versions of what it was. But we're going to have a walk up there. There's an old cemetery and have a quick look as we're on the island. Not a bad day really. Had that storm come through sort of middle of the day, but we've got stuff dry and put away. We've got a bit of fishing done. Not caught anything because with the lures that we've got, the water's not really deep enough. You can't cast out far enough. But you know, Elf is enjoying it. He's out there doing a bit now. So tonight we're having pepperoni, is it? Pepperoni and steak wraps. I'm going to have cheese with mine. Verdict. Tea and biscuits for dessert. Morning. It's currently -5. But what a beautiful morning. So still. Sun's coming up. Lovely. But it's not going to stay this way. It's like this today. But then tomorrow, high winds and rain again. So I think I'm going to go light the wood stove, get some breakfast on. We'll have a pack up and head back. If it stays like this, probably back the way we came, which is sort of straight across there. So we left the pots and pans outside last night, and the handle of the pan is frozen into the pan itself. So we'll get that on the stove, defrost it.
Oh my god, no man. It's a lot of places.
You want to try the kite paddles? Yeah? All right. Put them together then, put one up your end You still need your canoe paddle up there as well, though. Put yours in it, can't you? Tiny bit. No, right at the front, no, at the back. Huh? No, leave it sticking up till we use. Just trying to drain the water out of my boots. Right then.
Yeah.
Bye-bye in Shale Island. Look out for rocks, yeah? Take it nice and steady on this bit till we get out a bit further. Quite shallow here, isn't it? A lot more snow came down on those mountains last night. You need to cast to the side, yeah? So I don't want you to catch me. coming right over us. No, it's not a C-17. Look at that. So we just stopped on this little island to do a bit of fishing and have a brew. It's actually quite warm, feels warm in these dry suits and what have you, but Alf is suffering with cold feet, so he needs to stamp up and down, jog on the spot, stuff like that. People obviously camp here too. Fishermen, probably. A lot of snow came down last night. And there's some kind of old building here. I have no idea what. I'm not sure the name of this island actually. If I can find out, I'll put it on the screen. A minute ago, he was complaining he had cold feet. And now stood in the water fishing. Filchurn Castle against the backdrop of the snowy mountains. And we're just entering the river now, coming off the loch, and that wind's dropped a little bit. It's quite difficult for a while. So the railway bridge is in sight now. Can't be more than a couple of 100 metres. We've just got to be careful we don't run aground again on one of these gravel bars. So we've slowed the speed down, taking it nice and steady. Alfie's keeping an eye out at the front. So hopefully 10 minutes we'll be there. Back of the bridge. Alright, stop there. God, stinks a bit, doesn't it?
It really does. Reeks of ice.
We've arrived. Go on then, how you get?
Oh my god, it's like I'm not wearing boots.
Follow us in then, a bit. That'll do. Okay, well, we're back at the van, loaded. We've actually driven a bit way down the road. We're in Tyndrum. We stopped at the Green Welly. I'm sure people will know that if you frequent the Highlands or the West Highlands. So Alfie's going to get us a couple of coffees, just having a bite to eat, and we'll get a bit further down the road, probably get down around the side of Loch Awe somewhere, and stop and cook up something before driving back through the night. Been a good trip, a cold trip, but I didn't want to push it anymore with the bad weather coming in, especially with it being Alfie's first cold weather camping experience and his first canoeing experience, really. So he's done well. So you know, he's had a taster, and it hasn't put him off. So I think there may be some more trips in the future. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and I'll see you on the next one.